2, 1, boom. What's up, champions? Coach Rail here with Getting Real with Rael, where we get raw, real, and authentic. I'm really excited today, guys, because you know I'm an entrepreneur and I'm passionate about entrepreneurs being able to be successful. You know, I have my own company that I'm very passionate about, but this isn't about me tonight. This is about you, because I just want you to be successful. And my guest tonight, he is very, very well versed. He's been a very successful entrepreneur himself. You're going to hear his stories. But what I love about our guest tonight is I like to watch people. And I've been watching him, and he likes to watch people. And I listen to him, and he's just caught my attention. And he's like, when he speaks, it's like that E.F. Hutton thing, right? When E.F. Hutton speaks, he listens. So I asked him if he'd come on, and because I like to bring value and talk about things that will help you be successful as an entrepreneur, things you don't want to do, biggest mistakes he makes, and things like that. So we're going to talk about that tonight. It's going to be very educational, and you're going to get nuggets that's going to help you to be successful in whatever it is you're passionate about. So without further ado, I want to bring on my guest, Mike. I want to get it right. Maruyumoto, did I say that right?
Close enough. All right. Well, thank you for having me on, Riel.
No, I'm excited.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so Mike, like the part of my podcast, we always like to start there, is like I always like to say, you know, people know our glory, but they don't know our story. So, and I always say, go back as far as you can. Let's take us from when you were a little kid back there to where you are now, and share your story with us. And I always ask people, just, you know, don't hold back. Be real, be honest, be vulnerable and authentic. So if you could share with us, you know, your story and how you got to where you are today.
Fair enough. So I was, you know, born in Layton, Utah, of all places, and had a very loving family and grew up pretty normal life, you know, lifestyle. The one thing that I've always had a passion for was sales. In fact, my degree is in technical selling, and I've always been pretty successful in that realm of helping other people make the right decision by buying my products. And so I went and, you know, I started off, you know, running AT&T stores, ran about 20 of those as a regional rep, and then eventually got into this great and wonderful, I guess you'd call it field or whatever you want to call it, but it's called network marketing. And starting in 2006, I worked on the corporate side of the network marketing industry. My friend offered me a job that I couldn't pass up. I moved from Layton, Utah to California, and I started working in this industry. And I'd known about it because I'd done it in the past. I was somewhat successful at it. But then, you know, the corporate lifestyle called to me. I took that, got, basically took the faster road to money at that point in time in my life. Then I came back to it, and I wanted to learn everything about that I could about it. So I got to study underneath people that were making 7-figure yearly incomes, you know, 6-figure monthly incomes. And I got to help a couple companies grow from doing a couple $100,000 a month to, you know, $13 to $14 million a month. And, you know, the one thing I can tell anybody that's in this industry, the number one thing you need to do is find the right company that fits you, that will be there in the future. And the reason why I say that is I'm fairly new to the company I'm with now, and this would technically be the 4th company that I've been with. And it's not because I, you know, left those other companies for any other reasons that they disappeared. They're no longer around. Even though we got to the point of past stability, you know, to the point where they were growing and profitable, you know, if it's under the wrong type of management, there's just no chance you can succeed. So the one thing you want to look for is something, you know, you want to work with companies that are ethical. That's the main thing, is find a company that you're passionate in, a field that you're passionate about, and something that's a growing trend. And then you want to make sure that you feel good about that company, like, you know, the shady radar doesn't go off. And, you know, over the course of the many opportunities I've had, I wouldn't call anything that I've gone through so far anything bad, because I've learned a lot. And I've learned how to help other people grow and develop their business. And, you know, something I'm passionate about and I love doing. And I'll tell you what, it's definitely an honor to be talking to somebody like Riel today and being on this podcast and being able to reach out to however many people we reach out to, just to say, look, you know, if your dream is to become an entrepreneur, and your dream is to make something happen in your life, the one thing you can't do is quit. You'll never get anywhere by quitting, and you have to learn from people that have done it before. That's the next thing that's the next tip is, any industry is a big game of copycat, right? You find the right cat and you copy him. And what you want to do is you find a successful person in the industry that you want to be in, and you get mentorship. You gain mentorship, you understand. And I tell people, look, in any business out there, you look at it, and the first and foremost thing you need to have about it is some sort of education. You need to know what you're doing. I can't go and say I'm going to be a doctor tomorrow. I've got to learn, I've got to study. And if you're doing what we're doing here in the network marketing game, you can't just say I'm going to call 5 friends and be a millionaire. There's a learning curve, and you've got to understand that you need to work and learn at the same time. And then, success is something that happens with effort over time.
So I want to unmute myself, Michael. That's like, so I'm making notes over here, and there's so many things I want to go back, and I love, the world needs entrepreneurs. Somebody said this to me, what entrepreneurs become an entrepreneur because they want to make a difference. It's not just about them. They want to make a difference to change the world. So I've always said, and you just confirmed it, it's like, if you find something that you're passionate about, that lights your wick, as you will, gets your fire going, and the company has a good product, and they have a good vehicle to deliver it and a good culture, in my opinion, as long as you don't quit, like you said, you will be successful. Okay, I truly believe that. Now, I want to go back to one of the first things you said, Michael, because I know that this becomes a huge problem for me. I don't want to be a salesman. I don't want to sell anybody anymore. So, and you had mentioned that you became very good at helping people learn, or how did you say that, to buy your product. So talk about, first and foremost, what would you say to the person that wants to be an entrepreneur? They want to make a difference, but they're like, I'm not a salesman. I can't sell anything. What advice would you give them?
My advice is, you can say you're not a salesman, but everybody in this world is a salesman. Nothing gets done unless something is sold. And I'll go down to the base root of it. If you're married, you sold your partner on why you are, marriage material. If you have children, you have to sell them on why they need to be good and go to school and not do drugs and all this other stuff, right? When you're at work, you have to sell your boss on why you should stay there at your job. There's not a point in your life as you interact with other human beings that you're not selling either yourself or a concept or an idea or something. So for somebody to say that they're not a salesman, you'd basically have to live, or a salesperson to be more, genderly correct here. You'd have to live under a rock and never talk to anybody, which some people don't, Some people they don't communicate with people, and that's fine. And the thing about being an entrepreneur is you don't have to, go out and learn every sales technique out there. In fact, that's probably a detriment. What you want to do is gain, an idea of what you want to do and tell a story. A good friend of mine always told me that facts tell and stories sell. So if you can find something that you're passionate about and tell a story about it, it'll gain more traction than spitting out facts and clever sales lines. The fact of the matter is, for instance, if I were, selling a product that helped people sleep, for instance, I'm not going to go in there and tell them, look, it's got all these major things that increase, the melatonin in your system, and then this happens. They say, all I would say is like, look, I took 2 of these at night, and after about 3 days, I had the best night's sleep I've ever had. Is that something you're interested in doing? Well, how's it work? Well, I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm not a scientist. You either want to try it or you don't,
I love that, Michael, because it's so true. I've been blessed that, I've always been a top recruiter, and it's the same thing, man. It's like, if you ever heard, I don't know what the ingredients are. I have no idea. All I know is, dude, you put this in your mouth, dude, you're going to be throwing dumbbells around this gym like a superstar. Or, you put this, and because you're right, people get caught up in that. And it's so not important. Now, I want to go back to, I'm going to call it, because you said, and I want to know, and I'm sure people are watching you got very good at helping, what do you say, selling people or getting people to buy your product. So what was that system because you had to have a system. So give us a little bit of that, Mike, system that you got very good at getting people to see your vision. I want to say to see your vision and buy your products back in the day.
Well, I got, I guess there's a psychology system out there that helps build rapport quickly. And it was something I was very passionate about learning. So everything from facial features to the tonality, to the voice, to matching and mirroring, to, using sequential patterns to help overcome some people's subconscious abilities to make decisions, and finding buying patterns is something I was passionate about doing. It's not something that people can easily pick up on or easily do. It's something that takes an immense amount of time and study and effort to be able to be proficient at something like that. But I mean, the simple truth is that, have you ever heard opposites attract?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you right now that that's the biggest lie ever told. Okay. And the reason is, like, if you're looking for a partner, a wife, a husband, or something like that, right? And you're a morning person and they're a night person. Those are opposites. Do you think that's going to be good for the relationship or bad?
Probably bad.
Right. They're an angry person. You're a happy person. Those are opposites. You think that's going to help?
That's not good.
No, not good. Right? They want to have kids. You don't.
Not
Those
good.
are opposites.
No bueno.
Not good. Right? No bueno. So what the truth is that people have to understand, as people that are like each other tend to like each other. So the more like the other person you can be, the more chance they're going to want to go along with you when you're giving them an opportunity to purchase or to join a business or anything of that nature. So the one easiest thing I like to do is I will mimic their tone and the rate that they speak. So if they speak really quickly, then I'm going to speak really quickly like this, which a lot of times means they're like a very visual person. I'm going to speak in pictures and like movies type language, right? If they're more intermediate and they have a very clear voice and they speak at a very moderate pace, they're probably an auditory person. So I'm going to use more like it sounds good or that rings a bell, because they're probably an auditory person because their pace is very even and they sound like almost like a radio announcer person, right? And then there are some people that just speak really slowly and they feel everything that you're telling them. And it's just that feeling that they get when they're talking to you, if they want to move along with you. It's something that's got to feel right to them. It's, they've got to just be grounded at the time and before they make any type of decision. And those are your kinesthetic people. And you know what? You just got to love on them and move at the same pace that they want to move. And so even when you're speaking to a crowd of people, you can get all these people by speaking kind of quickly at times, moderately moving into this, and then slowly putting ideas through and giving them, meat to be able to hold on to. So even speaking in front of groups of people, you can alternate your voice, your pitch, your tonality, and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, it takes a conscious effort to be able to find where that person's at, be able to pick it out, and then gain that instant rapport with the person.
And I know we're talking a little NLP there. I know what you're up to.
NLP, exactly.
And but guys, that was, just take your hands, everybody, go boom. That was a double mic drop right there. That, my entrepreneurs out there, if you caught that was massive. And it reminds me because I'm like, I'm so fired up and everything. But I know that I got to be conscious of that. And it's okay to be like that. That's who I am. But I got to give a little bit of everybody. Otherwise, I'm going to blow half of the people out of the water, or they're not going to connect with me. So I know how important that was. So thank you for that, Michael. That was huge. Now, something else, because I'm talking to entrepreneurs. I'm talking about people that seriously want to make 6, 7, 8 figures, okay? And the reality is, and I think you'll agree with me, Michael, maybe 7, 8 years ago as an entrepreneur, it would be cool to say, I want to be a 7-figure income earner. But when we come back to where a true vision of an entrepreneur is to make a difference in the world as well as in their life, 7 figures don't cut it. So we really got to be talking 8 figures. So in terms of that, when we're talking about building an army, whatever it is you're passionate about, you said something last week when I was watching you. You were talking to this young lady, and you asked her this question, and I'm going to rephrase it, and then you can build on it. You asked her, you said, so if you want to build your company or your team fast, do you want to have a lot of product users on your team, or do you or a couple business builders? And she said, well, I want to have a lot of product users. And you said, no, you want to have a couple business builders. Why is that?
So one thing I've learned in this industry, and I only go to product companies, and because I love it, I love the science behind product companies, I love the products, I love to have something tangible. And what I've realized is somebody that truly believes in the product, and you know, they're dead set on helping people with the product, they will introduce it to maybe 3 or 4 people. Somebody that's interested in making money with the product will introduce it to hundreds, if not thousands of people, which a lot of those people will be product users. So in essence, I'm helping a lot more people consume the products that I believe in because I brought in people that want to make money. And then the one thing is you can't be ashamed of making money. Have you ever heard the term, money does not buy happiness? And I'm the first person to tell you that's true, it doesn't. The last time I checked, neither does poverty. Right?
Wow.
I'd rather be crying in a Mercedes than on a bicycle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
no.
And here's the thing you got to think about. With the more money, if you're a good person, it just makes you a better person. If you're a bad person, it makes you a worse person. You know, money doesn't make people bad people. People are either bad or good, and money makes them worse or better. You know, if your whole thing is that you want to help a lot of people, then give your money away and help a lot of people. Yeah, but the thing is, you can make a better impact in life if you're making more money. That's just how life is. That's how life works. So when I tell people, look, it's okay to find out where people are. I mean, I wouldn't turn somebody away if they wanted to use the products. I'm like, well, you're not who I'm looking for right now. No, you're welcome into my business, and I will help you with what you want help with. I'm not going to try and make you do things that you don't want to do. I think Jim Rohn said it best. You might be able to carry 1, maybe 2 people in your back, but you can't carry 3. So help those 20%ers be the best 20%ers they can be, and then the 100%ers help them be the best 100%ers they can be. But you're never going to make a 20%er a 100%er. You got to find those 100%ers, and they are already 100%ers before you find them. And you know, when you find those people, those are the people you spend the time with. If that makes sense, right? You've got to, you know, help those that deserve it, not that need it. I mean, it sounds cruel, but it's the truth. You need to spend the time with the people that are creating your wealth and your income. You need to support those people. And I'll tell you why. So let's say that I was working in your team, Real, and I was killing it, right? And you look at me and you go, okay, Mike's doing fine. I'm going to go help Joe over here who's struggling. I'm working. Then all of a sudden I see you helping Joe and not me. And I go, why are you not helping me? I'm the one that's over here busting my butt and helping you earn this giant income. This guy over here isn't doing anything. You know what? I'm getting frustrated. I quit. I'm out. Who would you rather keep, me or Joe?
I'd rather keep you, and that's so good, Mike. I've seen that so many. It's like we tend to, you got the rock star, and he's got it, and then you go and you help these new people, and then because this is a recognition to a relationship business, and then the flip side of it is, we as entrepreneurs, we're passionate. We want to drag people along. We want to help them. This would be good for Uncle Bob, but if Uncle Bob don't want it, it's no good for him. So I love that you said that, and it's like, I'm at a season now, Mike, in my life where, and it's like you said it's not me. I coach people on this all the time. I said, look, I'm 56. I got 3 amazing kids. I got a smoking hot wife. You know what? I don't need friends. I'm on a mission to change the world. So if people aren't in alignment with me, if they're not going in the same direction, I'm moving on, and people go, oh, that's mean. No, it's not. You're welcome to come with me. If you choose to stay, and I like to look at it like this, when we talk about building that army, right? It's like, we all want to, if you're a football fan, even if you're not, we all know, everybody knows what it's like to go win the Super Bowl, okay? Everybody has a place on the team. The fans, the coaches, the TV, the technology, everybody has a place on the team. But the fans ain't going to win the Super Bowl for me. I got to put the A line together. I got to put the A defense together, the special teams and all of that. And then when we go win the Super Bowl, everybody wins. So, that's my analogy of basically what you were saying, right?
Yep, that's correct. And the one thing about rock stars are, if they don't have fans, they're going to leave. If you're not giving them attention, they're going to leave. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's just because they live for, people will work for money, they'll die for recognition. If you're not recognizing your rock stars as rock stars, they will go find somebody that will.
That's simple. Yeah, it's very simple, and it's like, I've been there. I keep it real. I can't, not live up to my show, but it's like, I don't need recognition. Dude, shut up, Rael. Yeah, you do. It's important to you. People want it. So, and it's okay. It's okay to say you have recognition as long as you do it in the right way. I want to, a couple fire things, because I know I want to get you out on time. So what would you say, what's the biggest mistake entrepreneurs make when they're trying to build their teams?
There's a few of them.
Okay.
Number one is their initial conversation. They give too much information and the person's not interested. What you want to do is invite people to see a presentation. I like to say you want to give 100% of the information 100% of the time. So if you don't have the time or the ability to be able to do that right then and there, it's an invitation to come see it. Okay, you don't want to give them too much information, because then they're going to think they understand and they're not going to show up. Okay? Number two, if you think your friends and family are going to help you build your business, they're not. A good friend of mine, Pat Hentz, always says, talk to your friends and family first, get the rejection out of the way, right? What we do here is a profession, a very legitimate profession where people make 6 to 7 figures monthly in this industry. And it's something that can happen to, a select few. Like, you have your LeBron James type people in this industry like you would with any other one, right? And I tell people, look, you might never become a millionaire, and that's okay. Being a 100,000-aire is not that bad. It really isn't. It's not that bad. Making an extra couple grand a month to supplement your current income is not that bad. It's how much time, effort, and energy you're going to put into it, and how much you cultivate yourself. So you can't give up. The one thing is people get set back, they get told no, and they quit. So number two, they go out there gung-ho, they get a few rejections, they quit, they're given too much information, and they don't know what they're talking about. Here's the main thing you got to realize. If you're going to go out and say something about your your business or your product, you better be able to back it up. So when I said, look, I got this stuff, and it helps me sleep, you should try it, and it'll help you sleep too. What's in it? Well, I don't know, it just helps me sleep, right? Now, if I once said, hey, I've got this amazing product that's going to increase your deep sleep by 40%, and it's, clinically proven to do that, well, how does it do that? Well, I don't know. Now you look like an idiot, right? There's two different ways. So if I'm going to say, well, it's clinically shown to help you increase your deep sleep by 40%, I got to back it up by saying, well, we use Mazinol and 5-HTP, which increases the melatonin in your body. You got to make sure you shut off all the blue light, or otherwise it won't produce. It actually helps increase your serotonin during the daytime as well. But after you use it for about 3 or 4 days, you'll notice that X, Y, and Z are going to happen in your body, and those are things you need to look for. Now I sound like I know what I'm talking about. So there's two ways to approach the product. Now I talk about our mood product and say, look, there's, this is going to help decrease, anxiety, stress, and depression. Well, how does it do that? Well, I don't know. Now I sound like an idiot, right? Versus, hey, this is the happy pill. It's going to make you feel better. Well, how does it do that? Well, I don't know. I take two and it makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm going to say, well, it's shown to decrease depression and all this other stuff, I got to tell them it's got ashwagandha or laura, zenbra, and rafuma in it. The first two are for stress and anxiety, the second two are for depression, and the former, latter of the two are time release, and you see a compounded effect over 3 weeks. And I can go on to all its stats and data because I know it, because I've studied it, right? So I can go either way. If somebody's more technical, I'm going to go technical. They're more like, I just want to try something, and they're just open to try stuff. I'm going to go the easy route and say, hey, just try it, it'll feel better. If it doesn't, it makes me feel better. It's good. So but you got to I think you talked about earlier, if you're going to walk out and start shooting guns, you better have bullets in your gun, right? You got to know which revolver to pull out at what time.
That's so good, guys. And that's another mic drop. We overthink it as entrepreneurs. People don't, even in his examples, I love that you remind me of me in a lot of ways. Like, I do know all the ingredients in my products. Eventually, with my new company, I don't have a clue right now because it's not important to me, but eventually I'll learn it. But it's the same thing. It's like, I don't ever say it, because even when learn from what Michael just did, and I think you'll all agree, set yes in the chat if you agree. Michael knows both ways. But when he said, it's my happy juice, it makes me feel happy, we all got it. When he went down that road and started, most of us went, whoop, we totally don't. Now there's some of us on here that, doctor, science, you would get that as appointment. But I think we'd all agree, most of us went, right? People don't. So those of you I got to know everything, I got to learn everything. I'm just telling you, you don't. It's that old saying, I love from my first company, Michael. This guy, Charlie Regis, was from my first company. It was an amazing company. And I remember Charlie Regis, I learned, I actually have the CDs right here. I built $1 million business. There's a lesson in itself right here from these CDs. I still have them. And he was passed away by the time I joined that company. I used to play those CDs over and over and over again. And, to confirm the first thing you said earlier, when you put this CD in, you start playing it, the first thing he says, the first thing you're going to have to learn how to do is tell your blank story. It's all about our stories, champions. We get paid to share our story. When you're struggling with your business, my buddy in that company made $500,000 a month, $500,000 a month, #1 income earner. And when his team would come to him and say, oh man, my business sucks, I don't know, I can't get anybody, the first thing he would say to them, how many people are you talking to? We get paid to talk to people, and then fast forward to where you were just going. The other thing that he said on here, I never forget, he said, sometimes I'd get so fired up at meetings, I'd be so passionate that people would just get in the car and follow me. They wouldn't even know where I was going. They just got in the car because I was fired up. And it's just like you're saying, people follow your passion, they follow your excitement. I gotta respect your time. Okay, so what would you say, you've seen people do this, what would you say is some of the things that you've seen people that rise really quickly? Like, what are some of the things that you see champions doing that helps them to have quick success?
They have confidence. You know, they go out and they say, look, I'm doing something important. You're either with me or not with me, but at least, you know, we're friends, check it out. You need to at least check out what I'm doing because, you know, this is something big. And they're just overly confident about what they're doing. You know, they don't go in meek and say, well, you know, I got this thing, it might be okay, and, you know, it might do this, it might do, no, it's like, hey, look, we got the next best thing since sliced bread here on the table, and you'd be, you know, you need to look at this. I wouldn't be your friend if I didn't tell you to look at this, or I wouldn't be your acquaintance, I wouldn't be, you know, this. It's the next rising big thing right now. You know, and they're excited about it, and they're showing, you know, that there is progress in what's going on. And they talk to more people than the people that don't rise as fast. You know, they'll use social media, and they understand how to use social media. That's the difference. Your social media is not a billboard for your company. It's a billboard for your life sprinkled with your company, right?
Yes.
And people have to understand that. It's one of those things that is very important that people understand is that they have to talk to people. You know, and you can build a business 5 minutes a day. A very, very small business. Very small business. Okay? It takes time, effort, and energy, and it takes mentorship, it takes understanding, it takes a lot of different things to build a large income business. Okay? And it's something that needs to be done every single day. And I tell people, look, our industry is one of the best. Because how many people have ever said, you know, I wish people would pay me what I'm worth? Well, here we will. But you might end up being disappointed on what you're actually worth if you're not willing to put the effort and work in.
Woo! Whoa. That was like, oh my gosh, guys. He just, some of us just got a right hook. But here's the good thing. I love getting a right hook because I go to a church where I come out of church like, oh my gosh, I just like went 12 rounds with Tyson because I don't want a kumbaya, you know? And, you know, if some of you just felt that, like I felt that, you know what? You got a little butt hurt right there. The thing is, you got a choice to fix it because that was huge what Mike just said right there, okay? So I wanna make sure you caught that. You have the potential as an entrepreneur to, the sky's the limit. We get paid what you're worth here, but you know, you're gonna pay for your efforts, like you just said. So that was huge, I love that. I wanted to just wrap this up. I could talk to you all night long. This one. I just, cause you know, this is probably the biggest thing we get. Is it one of those pyramid things? You know? Yeah, for one of the, like, give us the mic wisdom on that one because that takes.
Is it one of the pyramid things?
Yeah.
What do you mean, like Starbucks? You know, let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to Starbucks, Rio?
Yes, sir.
All right, so there are people there that sweep the floors and make the coffee, right? And then there are assistant managers. Are there more people that make coffee or more assistant managers? Well, there's more people that make coffee, right?
Yes.
Who gets paid more?
The assistant manager.
The assistant manager. Are there more managers or assistant managers? The
assistant manager.
Assistant managers, right? Who gets paid more? The managers.
Manager.
Or district managers or managers? Well, there's more managers. All the way up to the CEO. Let me ask you a question. What shape does that make? Well, it makes a pyramid, right? Okay, well, let's talk about the government. What shape does that make? Do we want to talk about your church? No, we'll leave your church alone.
Pyramid, yeah. The Boy Scouts and Health Pyramid, yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, though. Why? Number one, what's the only building you can see from outer space? The pyramid. Why? Because it's the strongest structure made. And then what's on the back of a dollar bill? A pyramid. And what's on top of that? There's an eye, right? You know what that means? I want to be on top of the pyramid. That's a little network marketing joke. But the thing about it is, is there isn't a structure out there that doesn't follow the same model. There isn't a structure out there. Now, why is there a bad reputation in a lot of different areas of it? Because there have been a lot of shady companies, right? And of course, in network marketing, they're the only shady companies out there, because there was never like an Enron, right? There was never other companies that were like destroying other things, right? It's just network marketing that has bad companies. You know, there are no other bad companies besides ours. Well, no, there's tons. You know? And if you tried it and failed, guess what? Most people do the first time they do it, the second time they do it. Most people that earn a 7-figure income in this industry, it's usually on the third company. Some earn it in their first, but most it's not their first. Why? Because there's a learning phase. There's an understanding phase. And then you build your credibility, you build your influence. Okay? You're not born with influence, it's something you build. And then after you build your influence, you use it. Hopefully for good.
Yes.
You know? The main thing is that you attach yourself to a company that is honest and has integrity. That way you won't end up like me on your fourth company going, oh, what happened? Because the CEOs decided to not do the things the right way, and it just doesn't end up, and you end up, starting over again. So you want to start out by finding a company that's newer. I like to find newer companies because I like the bubble effect. But you also want to find one that has the proper backing. And there's 3 things in a company you need to look for. And this is a telltale sign if it's a good company. Do they have product in stock? Do they ship their product on time? And do they pay on time? Those are the only 3 things that a company has to do. That's it. Everything else is up to the distributors. But if the company is doing those 3 things relatively well, it's probably a pretty well-run company. If you ever have to ask, where's my check? And why is my product taking 3 weeks to get there? You're in the wrong company. That means the honest truth is they don't have enough money to pay you on time or get the product stocked, and they're going down the drain quick. And whatever else they're telling you is a fat lie, because if you have the backing, the proper backing monetarily, you will get your products on time, you'll get paid on time. Now, every company will make mistakes here and there, little ones, right? But if it's a widespread thing where there's like thousands of people not getting their stuff on time, there's a problem, and you need to leave that company. Because trust me, I've been in 3 of them that all the signs are always the same. If they're not paying on time and they're not shipping on time, you better jump ship and tell everybody else to do the same thing, because they will be ending within the year.
Oh, that's
guaranteed.
Good. That's good. I love it. Okay, listen, I got to get you out. I always do my rapid fire, and then rapid fire. So, who's your favorite superhero?
I'm gonna go with Iron Man.
Really? Okay. Why Iron Man?
Because he's a normal person that did extraordinary things. He wasn't born with anything other than his brain power and being able to create something, and became a superhero. So
I love that.
The average person.
So you get to be a superhero, and you get to have your own superpower. What would your superpower be, and how would you use it to make a difference in the world?
Wow, that's a difficult one. I would say my superpower would be to travel through time. That way I could go to key points in time and, knowing when things are going to happen and make a difference.
Love it. Okay. Biggest mentor. Who's your biggest mentor in your life? And did they have a tagline, a slogan? Like my dad taught me there's no such word as CANT. Who would your biggest mentor be, and how did they make an impact on your life?
That would be unfair to say. I've had so many mentors in my life, especially in this industry. People like James Hsu, Robert Hollis, people like Hip Tran, Rich Higbee, Marvin Higbee. I mean, there's just been a lot of people that I've learned so much from in this industry. And some good, some bad, Some of them have great reputation, some of them don't. But the one thing is when you have an education, you always should respect where it came from and understand the good stuff from the bad stuff, that kind of thing. So, it's hard to pin down, because I like to soak up knowledge from everywhere that I can get it. In every company, I've had different people teach me different things. and have always appreciated that. So, I mean, you know, it would depend on the time of my life, who the mentor was at that time, but it would be unfair to give it credit to just one person.
I love that. I love that. All right. Well, listen, Mike, it's been an honor. This has been full of nuggets, guys. You know, great nuggets, guys. If you're an entrepreneur, this is a training in itself, you know, and, you know, we want to thank you guys for showing up and watching this. You know, obviously, you know, me and Mike are both very passionate. Like I said at the beginning, as an entrepreneur, we want you to find your passion, whatever you're passionate about. We would be remiss if we didn't let you know we are both very passionate about Amare Global. You know, we invite you to check us out. If you haven't found what you're passionate about, we invite you to check us out. We're a mental health awareness company, and we're on a mission to make a difference, and we are about to take this world by storm and changing lives. But at the end of the day, use these nuggets you learned today, take your business to the next level, and go out there and make a difference. As I always say, how do you want to be remembered? What do you want on your tombstone? You know, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? So with that said, guys, I appreciate you. I will believe in you till you believe in yourself. Make the rest of the day the best of the day. God bless.